I am so excited for the opportunity to show this piece because it's a collection, it's something historical, but it's expressed through a grammar of craft. My name is Diego Borgsdorf Fuenzalida. I am primarily a fiber artist, and I'm also an ethnographic researcher. And my practice focuses on uncovering the emotional afterlives of 20th century political violence in post-dictatorship Chile. My piece in the show at the Phillips is called Rewe Tapestry. The piece was originally commissioned by the estate of an artist named Luchito Hurtado, and part of her work and practice as a person outside of her work in visual arts was through collecting. And what was most interesting to me was a story that I found sifting through a few different personal diaries of hers, of a rewe, which is a kind of totem used by an indigenous nation in Chile called the Mapuche, and about how she had essentially bought a rewe from a traveling salesperson while she was visiting Chile in the late 60s and ended up shipping back the piece, even though it was immense, probably 9 or 10 feet long. It was a really interesting and contentious story. Of course, I was approaching the archive from the lens of a researcher in today's times, and so many Indigenous scholars have really identified different ways where collection practices have been harmful and have been really extractive towards Indigenous knowledge. But I was also, of course, looking at this practice of collection from the context of the artist herself. You bring back something from a place that's really far away and bring it over to where you're living. Not only is about taking an object and transmitting all of its powers to your place, but it's also inherently creating the conditions necessary for you to do visual artwork. And so the domestic and daily life objects that we have around us hold really important weights emotionally, politically, and they allow us to do what we do as artists and as people. I was really interested in exploring this concept through weaving, so I started the months-long weaving practice of putting together Rewe Tapestry, and it was something that I viewed as not just a tapestry, but also a collection in and of itself. So the weaving is full of different wool. A lot of it was hand-dyed at a natural dye studio named Blue Light Junction in Baltimore. A lot of it was different beads that are ceramic that form chanchitos, which are a symbol of good luck in central Chile. And then there's also copper. And so through the practice of putting the materials into those vertical warp strings, I was really thinking about how can I make this a collection of sorts and charge it with different materials that have important histories politically, economically, and then bring them and congeal them together into something that has meaning.